Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of How Not to K-Pop with Sean and Henry. Today, Henry, I'm seeing double.
Double? Tell me about this double. That or you need glasses, but yeah, continue.
Double SS501 are the group we're diving into today. If you don't know them, you might know Boys Over Flowers, just this tiny little indie drama that launched this boy group into superstardom. We'll be talking names and numbers.
Before you continue, I don't think
Yes.
Boys Over Flowers is actually that small, was it?
No, that's the joke.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I don't watch these dramas. All right, I don't like Boys and Flowers. So.
Okay, not a fan. All right.
Yeah.
We'll be talking names and numbers, rumours against the members, Kim Hyun Jun and Kim Hyun Joong, their success in Japan, and would they be successful if they debuted today? Let's bring it in. They debuted under DSP in 2005 with 5 members, Kim Hyun Joong, Kim Hyun Jun, Hyo Young Sung, Kim Kyu Jong, Park Jung Min, with the EP Warning. Never Again went number 1, that's the song. 2007, they officially debut in Japan with Kokoro, or Heart.
Sorry, but when you said Never Again went number 1, so it sounds like they went number 1 and then Never Again. Like, this is the only time they topped the charts.
It was short-lived success, yes.
Yes, because in all fairness, not in all fairness, I think it's because they just don't know which one's Kim Hyun Joong and Kim Hyun Jun. Because I'm having
tongue twister if ever I heard one. Okay, so from 2007 onwards, they have this pivot to Japan. So super quick, only 2 years after debut, they release a few more albums, a self-titled Japanese album, Deja Vu. Their popularity, they're gaining it, it's pretty steady. Then 2009, Hana Yori Dango, the Korean adaptation of Boys Over Flowers. It airs, it stars the Double SS501 member Kim Hyun Joong, and it takes off. So suddenly Double SS501, superstars. Park Jung Min and Kim Hyun Joong are busy with other activities like modeling and musicals. So Double SS301 are formed with the remaining members, and they release the song You Are Man. Some success, world tour, stuff starts taking off basically. 2010, DSP says contracts are expiring. All the members are going to different agencies, putting the group on hiatus.
Okay.
So Kim Hyun Joong signs with Key East Entertainment, Park Jung Min joined CNR Media, Kim Hyun Jun with S Plus Entertainment, and Ho Young Sang and Kim Kyu Jong both signed with B2M Entertainment.
Hold up. So
different agencies.
Are they on hiatus or they're effectively disbanded?
Sure, they're not saying, oh yeah, we're done, but as their actions show, they're pretty much done as Double SS501.
Alright, so
continuing the story, in the years post their contracts expiring, Kim Kyu Jong, Park Jung Min, and Kim Hyun Jun all pursue solo careers in Japan. They're acting in dramas, musicals, they're releasing music a little bit. Hyo Young Sang and Kim Hyun Joong, they remain in Korea. Ho Young Sung releases some solo albums to some success. Personally, I really like them. Definitely check them out. 2014, the saga of Kim Hyun Joong that we're going to go into begins. An ex-girlfriend accuses him of assault. The Double S members, Double SS501 members, they don't appear with him. He's effectively separated from the group from this point onwards. 2016, Double SS301 unit make a surprise comeback and release a mini album called Eternal 5. 2017 to the present, they've gone to the military. Recently, Young Sung and Kim Kyu Jong performed as part of the Chuseok celebrations just this year, so they're sort of somewhat active. To this day, they're not completely gone, like some other groups.
Yeah, like some other groups.
But like some other groups, in my opinion, their name is questionable.
Right, and I believe these questionable names for a group don't last long? Or do they?
There's a correlation, is there? If your name isn't that good, you don't last that long. That's an interesting thought.
Well, I'm sure we can think of some groups where the name is just completely stupid, but they still do well. But it's
Oh,
very
very
rare.
Yeah, fair call. So let's break it down. The name.
Okay.
Okay, the first S, it stands for superstar. The second
Right.
S, it's an abbreviation for singer. And the combination of 5, 0, and 1 to make SS501 symbolizes 5 members united as one forever.
So what's the 0?
How much I care about the name.
Like, immediately, there's a loop, not loophole. Okay,
A loophole?
The 0, oh, there's not a loop. Hey, because the 0 is a hole.
Oh,
that
okay.
doesn't make sense. It's missing. It's missing the meaning of the full name because they don't mention the 0.
In general, numbers in a name, I don't know. Korea had this phase of putting numbers in names, like 2 p.m., Batoost, 4 minute. You know, all these groups suddenly came out with numbers. So the number 4, the number 2 in 2 p.m., the number 2 in Batoost, because why not? And if you notice nowadays, it's actually evolved into everything is with letters. We've got 17, twice, Pentagon. Isn't that? That's just an interesting thing I observed
Wait,
whilst I was
hold on.
researching.
Pentagon is a full word, not just like not anecdotal. What am I talking about?
It's geometric.
Abbreviate, not abbreviations. What do you call when you just use abbreviate?
Pentagon means it's a whole word. It's a noun.
It's a whole word. No, but I'm talking about like if you use PNTGN for Pentagon. You know what I'm saying? Like shortening it with just letters.
Oh, they take out the vowels.
Yeah, or like using initials or stuff like that, just to make it more unique, to stand out from all the other groups that just use a typical English word. Instead, they just either cut out letters to shorten it or add in numbers.
Not totally.
Then, SS501 period, when they add numbers in to like represent or to you read the 2 instead of TOO, right?
They're trying to be the cool kids. Is that what you're saying?
Like Beast, where 2 in Beast does not make sense because the 2 takes over the letters of E and A. So how is it Beast when it's spelled Batoost with the number 2? SS501 at least makes sense when you read it like that, SS501, but the 0 makes no sense. What?
You're right.
There's BTS. Right. This BTS is behind the scenes.
Look, in general, the numbers in the names, they're silly. They're just stupid, and often they don't have much meaning. Like 4 minute, they've got 5 members. So what does 4 minute for what?
Because it only takes 4 minutes to save the world.
Ticka 4 minutes.
It only takes 4 minutes. I'm sorry, the Justin Timberlake Madonna. 4 minutes.
Nice.
Continue. All right. Hey. I'm old.
So to me, the only time groups should be using numbers, and this includes twice, is to identify how many members. And that's where the 5 in SS501, I think, actually makes sense.
Yeah, the 5, yes. The 0, no. You haven't told me what the hell the 0 means.
I guess it can't be SS5 to 1 or SS5
It
is
could be
1.
SS51. 5-1, you know, 5 members united as one. 5-1. It's just that when you write it, it'll be 51. So,
Sure.
why can't it be 5SS1
Why can't it just be letters?
like BTS?
Yeah.
When BTS, I thought it's in English it meant behind the scenes.
Who cares? It's still catchy. It's still memorable.
Behind the scenes, my god.
You know, I think BTS is a better name than SS501. I stand by that.
I call that defamation. How dare you?
I'm numberist.
Yeah, no, but like, I think letters are not as good as numbers. I think they should bring back numbers. Numbers have that nostalgia. They'll bring back the people who used to listen to music but don't, or at least the current music. You know, it's too trendy. But the numbers, man. Remember when we wrote in when you write in text messages, nobody writes in full words and perfect grammar anymore.
Oh, fair.
Yeah, you gotta go U with the letter U, and like, what do you call it? Leet speak. At one point, they call you write like a hacker.
So basically, full names, they're too long. Screw full letters. Let's just have letters and numbers to shorten things.
Even better, they should use like the tilde, the comma, the asterisk, those colons and those lines that you find on a keyboard where it's a straight line. You've got like a
Imagine
slash.
performing as a group with a question mark. We are dog. Big rumors happen at SS501. I'm gonna go through a smaller one, and this will all be over in like a minute because it was very short-lived. It was over the course of a year and a half. In March 2019, Kim Hyun Joong accused of sexual assault that took place in 2010. So in 2019, someone came forward with this story that happened in 2010. That after a few drinks at a bar, Kim Hyun Joong went back to this lady's place and she was assaulted there. September 2020, the woman was found guilty of defamation and false accusation in a court. So this rumor was obviously false and an attempt, in my opinion, to just take down Kim Hyun Joong. And it's damaging. Rumors are vicious in that way that they can ruin someone's career and life. So it was kind of nice to see a story where this person's false accusations, it came to light that they were false and justice was properly served.
Well, that's what happens when you become a superstar. Everyone and anyone close to you, or even people you don't even know, like they just saw you from across the room. Suddenly, you're going to hear something from them. It's. Oh.
Well, this life, it's not mine. I don't really lead this celebrity life. I know, shocking. But I am sure I would mess this up, get cancelled, and have to live in a cave for the rest of my life.
Well, now that we're putting our voices on air and people know our names, at some point, there's going to be a rumor about you, Sean. They're going to be like, oh, Sean, we saw Sean out with another girl. Oh, let's quickly tell Nicole. Not that they'll sound like that.
Right.
but yeah, you're gonna get some heat, man. You're gonna get some heat, and then Nicole's gonna come knocking at your door, which is very weird because you two live together.
All right, cool. Tune in for 2021 where I get cancelled and have to leave. Cool.
That's how not to podcast. That's our next series, and will be episode 1. But yeah, let's be honest here. When you get famous, they're getting rumors, or you're going to get a lot of it. And then people, without enough information or with the right information, whether it's, true or false, they'll believe it. And then your life is suddenly in the hands of people you don't know until you stand up and say no.
We actually cover that kind of thing almost every week on this pod that, yeah, rumors can be tricky to handle properly, and they can also be quite damaging, like IU with Eunhyuk and just all of it. It can be quite a messy place to be in, having rumors thrown out there about.
Okay, so first of all, IU and Eunhyuk was together, and it was just the one occasion that ruined not career, but ruined the personality, the image of Eunhyuk near completely. Whereas IU was more or less fine afterwards. But that was just one occasion. I know that Tiara rumors would circulate before bullying. Girls' Day, their attitude problem during one of the online shows, variety shows, I believe.
Right.
So rumors, mate, rumors, and they keep spreading. People either spread it or they bring it back up over time. Far out, man.
Time to move on to the saga. So Kim Hyun Joong, I labeled this Kim Hyun Joong is a naughty boy.
That's a really incorrect statement because naughty just seems very sexual.
Right, as you'll find out, it isn't true. But let's take it from the top. 2014, Kim Hyun Joong is accused of assault by his former girlfriend, Che. Che accuses him of repeatedly assaulting her and bruising her arms, chest, face, and butt, including a fractured rib. They've been dating for a few months at that point. Label Key East, because Kim Hyun Joong's label at the time, argue it wasn't repeated assaults. However, there was an incident where there was a physical altercation. Kim Hyun Joong is questioned by police and apologizes to Che. Hello, this is Kim Hyun Joong. No, it's not. It's me reading Kim Hyun Joong's statement.
Continue.
So, quote, through this incident, I have caused serious mental and physical injuries to a person that I have trusted and loved for 2 years, and I am deeply sorry for that. I feel deeply embarrassed of myself for doing things a man should not do. As this whole case is a consequence of my wrongdoing, that person has no reason to be criticized. I apologize to her once again, and I want to express my apologies to her family and friends as well. Above all, I hope she will accept my apology and forgive me. I will learn from this incident by doing my best to live a more well-behaved and healthy life. In 2015, January, Kim Hyun Joong is fined 5 million won, that's about $4,800 for 2 cases of assaulting his now ex-girlfriend. 2 other cases were dropped. Now at this point, because I lived through this and I was aware of him at this time, I cancelled them. I'm like, Kim Hyun Joong, screw you, I'm out.
Cancel culture.
What?
That's that cancel culture.
Yeah, that cancel culture. I was right in on it.
Back in 2015, man. Far out. Look at you.
And as we'll find out why later on, I feel super ashamed for doing that.
Yeah, that's later on though. But like when you heard that news, up until what, January 2015, how did you feel? Why cancel?
You know, obviously, as any normal person is, I'm against violence in general, but hitting your girlfriend who trusts you is just very, or anyone that trusts you, like your child, that's just really completely not cool, and to me, there's no actual reason to do that, pretty much ever.
No, I agree. That's dangerous territory, mate.
And that's why I was like, Kim Hyun Joong, no, not cool. Screw you, I'm out. And I literally, then and there, stopped listening to SS501, who I was pretty a fan of. I bought some of their CDs, so. But the story continues. March 2015. Che informed Kim Hyun Joong that she is pregnant. To this, Kim Hyun Joong and his parents and Miss Che communicated multiple times via phone calls and face-to-face meetings. They agreed on a hospital for Miss Che to have her pregnancy status re-examined, as well as receive prenatal care. However, Miss Che refused this, and now she can't be contacted by Kim Hyun Joong. So Kim Hyun Joong, sort of in response to this information, relays that should Miss Che's pregnancy be confirmed, he will take responsibility for it. So basically we've got a situation where there's an assault case going on and the person who's accusing him of assault is now pregnant, most likely with his child.
Wait, hold on. Wasn't the case pretty much like finished? 2 cases are dropped. He's already paid the 5 million won, or about $4,800. So
the thing about those cases is it goes through an appeals process afterwards. Because the 2 cases that were dropped, especially, Miss Che would be like, wait a sec, no, and appeal it. So that's sort of what's going on.
Right. Okay.
Right. So May 2015, the ex-girlfriend sues again for $1.5 million, 1.5 billion won, for psychological harm and a miscarriage. Here's a statement. The other party has stated that she received treatment at a hospital following her miscarriage, so we'll be checking those records first. That's Kim Hyun Joong's attorney. He continues, first off, the pregnancy itself was her claim, and second, the miscarriage is also her claim. Nothing has been confirmed. Ms. Che has said that she received a separate treatment following her natural miscarriage around June of last year, 2014. We are currently looking into the truth at that hospital through the court. Finally, Kim Hyun Joong's attorney said if there's no truth to Miss Che having received treatment at the hospital, our side will prepare to file a lawsuit for blackmail. And Kim Hyun Joong's basically, his attorney's doing all the work because Kim Hyun Joong is off to the military mid-2015 in May. Yeah.
That's 2, and then I believe military service is about 2 years as well. So that's quite a while. And This is back in what? So the assault was back in, let's see, let me just scroll back. 2014. It's now 2015. Mid March 2015.
It's now May.
And-
It's now May
it's now May.
2015. Yep.
So it's a year already, and it's more cases being added on, or at least bringing back those cases that were originally,
Right. And as with, in general, when a case is brought against you, obviously your attorney denies it all. So Kim Hyun Joong, they say, is innocent of all of these claims. Nevertheless, it's found that Kim Hyun Joong gave her a settlement of 600 million won regarding all of this assault and miscarriage matter.
Right.
So he's already sort of given some money, which, I mean, I'm not saying that makes him look guilty. I'm just saying that he's already tried to settle it with this person. Yeah, so it's a matter that Miss Che clearly isn't happy with what she's received. She feels it's a disservice or a miscarriage of justice. Kim Hyun Joong off to the military, is that surprising? Because as we've seen throughout the years in the genre of K-pop, idols do that when things heat up, when there's a little bit of negative attention being thrown at them.
I don't know, man, but I think the only times I know about military service is BTS getting out of military service so that they could perform. But no, I don't know of any groups or idols that escape to military. First time for me. First time. I don't really listen to SS501 in saying that, Do they? I don't know, Sean. You know this group more than I do. You probably know a few more of the older groups as well.
Here's the thing. Here's why I can't really say. Because no one has out and out said that's the reason. Therefore, innocent until proven guilty. I am merely noticing coincidences and trying to put them together. For example, Seungri. When Seungri was facing certain accusations regarding his clubs...
You're talking about Big Bang Seungri.
Yes, Big Bang Seungri, yes. When he was facing accusations of things happening in his clubs that were illegal, and him even being involved, suddenly other articles started popping up saying Seungri to enlist in the military. So, for me personally, when I see that information in that order, that way, I'm like, oh, so he's running off to the military. However, you're right. You make a good point that possibly it's no correlation. Possibly he'd been planning this for years and years. He's like, oh yeah, this year I'm going to the military. I don't know. That's the thing.
I didn't make such a point. I don't know where you pulled that out from.
You got my gears turning to think that way.
You're shoving words in my mouth. Stop it. How could you? I'm going to sue you. Nah. Here's the other thing. Would you think that escaping to military service, the reason why they purposely choose military service to escape to is because it's also protection there, much more than if they were just a hideaway at home?
I would argue that. I am speculating, but I would argue that, yeah. And fact is, it looks good. You going to the military is a noble thing. Like, who would look on that unfavorably?
Well, hold up. If you're like a sex offender and you go to military service in Korea...
No. That's different.
Positively? What?
That is different.
Okay, sure. Okay.
But for an idol,
yeah,
I'd say it's quite a noble thing.
Here's the other thing. In regards to Big Bang Seungri, yes, that'll be in another upcoming episode on how not to K-pop. So that's something to look forward to. With Kim Hyun Joong in SS501, however, that's already gone. That's already done because that's 2015 to 2017.
Right, he's back. Yeah, so he went back in 2017, but his case was going through the courts until 2016. On August 10th, 2016, the Seoul Central District Court stated that it could not accept Che's assault and miscarriage statements as true, and ordered 100 million won to be returned to Kim Hyun Joong. So this court's found that Kim Hyun Joong is innocent, that Che's claims of assault and miscarriage untrue. September 22nd, Kim Hyun Joong is acquitted of all charges filed by his ex-girlfriend. The prosecution found out that none of the charges filed by Che were valid. The prosecution also decided that the charges of Kim against his former girlfriend cannot be deemed a false accusation because the text messages that were leaked to the media showed contradictions of Che's claims. So they actually cannot. So the charges of Kim Hyun Joong against his former girlfriend cannot be deemed a false accusation because the text messages that were leaked to the media showed contradictions of Che's claims. So it's almost like a reversal. What Kim was saying was the truth in a way because Che had contradicted herself. It also judged that the text messages of Che's mother showed behavior associated with blackmail. So Kim Hyun Joong, he was put through the runner, but now, in a way, the truth, I guess, has come out and a court has found, he's actually innocent.
Right. So the assault case, done. But when it came to the next cases that Miss Choi or Che tried to file and whatnot, and to bring up the miscarriage, that was all used as blackmail, so it wasn't true.
Right. And I wanna bring back the fact that at this point Kim Hyun Joong has already paid 600 million won to this individual. So, I think there is some grounding for that claim that he was blackmailed.
Oh, yeah. No, and the fact that most likely, because they were not able to actually get in contact with Miss Che. Is it Che or Choi? You wrote CHOY, right? OI.
Yeah, just my pronunciation is garbage, so I'm sticking with Che. I'm doubling down on Che.
All right. So it's spelled CHOI, but Sean's going with Che. So we'll stick with Che for now. But yeah, so it would seem it's blackmail and the assault did not affect the miscarriage. That's what it was. And even though he paid, 6 million? No, 600 million?
I just want to point out, according to a court, it could not accept Che's assault and miscarriage statements as true, meaning there was no miscarriage, first off. There was no assault, according to the court, as far as the court could determine.
I'm also reading, just going back to it, was the fact that at one point they couldn't actually get in contact with Miss Choi as well. And so when you don't have the full truth to it, and then the fact that Kim Hyun Joong has already officially apologized for something, the assault case, the assault charge, because that was true, and now he's given the 600 million won because he probably thinks that might also be true. That's why she's doing all this and bringing all of it back up. And now he's lost a lot of stuff. He's lost time. He's gone to the military for 2 years, by the way. So that time in the military, avoiding the public, avoiding any sort of discrimination, defamation, or whatever, continue rumors, trying to get away from this problem with his ex.
And also, the fact that, I want to just say that his sponsorships and stuff fell through. Endorsements, all those contracts, they're gone now.
Yeah, all the time he could have used to actually make music or even, continue his career, all gone. All gone because of this one person.
Because I cancelled him, yeah.
and it wasn't to do with the assault case, because that was done. That was pretty much in a way settled. It was the blackmail that came after, and that, Jesus, man. Again, this is what happens when you become famous, man. I don't.
And
one day we're gonna have this rumor.
So
you're gonna have a miscarriage. Sean's gonna have a miscarriage. What's Nicole gonna do?
I think that. So to me, what's scary about this whole story is, so I'm a fan of them, or I was, and I read about the assault case and I cancel them, and I don't learn about the outcome of the court case until 2020 when I research them again. And I'm wondering how many people are just like me that cancelled them and then didn't actually follow up. They didn't research and find, oh wait, he's innocent. It's fine.
Hold up. You cancelled them originally. It was during the period where it was about the assault charge.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
But after there was no mention about the miscarriage or the pregnancy.
Oh yeah. It just got. Yeah? I remember the pregnancy thing. I'm like, oh man, this is just getting worse and worse.
So in a way, it was kind of like enforcing or making you agree that you were making the right decision to cancel this guy.
It was reinforcing that view, and the court cases were only resolved, a couple years later. So, and you know how fast K-pop moves. Like, I think a lot of people had just moved on and been like, oh, they were a thing. Now
Yeah, it was during a time when numbers in your name made you famous. Now it's all letters.
you're right, that does date it. So once again, I'm completely ashamed and feel so stupid for how I handled this whole case. And yeah, my takeaway from it is look deeper, look closer. Don't just read a headline essentially and go, oh, yep, that's it. He's that person's out.
I'm sure at the same time though, it was still developing at the time. Not everything was coming out. It was much later on until they eventually found out that it wasn't true.
Yeah, so follow the developments. Because I didn't. I did not even follow the developments. I just went, that's it.
You cancel culture mother. All right.
Let's talk about their success in Nippon, Japan.
Right.
I believe I said Nippon. I cringed so hard at that.
Why did you say Nippon?
Nihon!
Nihon or Nippon?
Oh, yeah. Okay. They debut at number 10 in Japan, which impressive for a Korean group, especially in 2007 when social media wasn't quite what it was, with the song Kokoro. And then they chart number 9 and then 4, so they gain momentum in Japan. They really cement themselves as one of the top acts to follow, I feel. Even their debut album, it charted number 20. And then their next album charts number 10 in 2 years. So in 2 years, they've gone 10 rows up the charts. This is impressive for a Korean group in Japan. But it's not quite, say, a Kara or a Girls' Generation. And I can't help but feel, okay, this is going to be really quite mean. But I suspect that at least half of this fame can be attributed to Hanayori Dango being super successful, and also just the Hallyu wave in general, spearheaded by TVXQ or Rain.
Especially Rain. What are you talking about?
Right? Like, I just feel like in an alternate universe where those groups didn't exist, Double S might not have taken on in Japan as successfully. And the reason I say that is they debuted at number 10. As if you could do that without already some sort of focus on Korea happening. Culturally, I mean.
Yeah, that's true. You'd have to be aware.
Yeah.
Very aware. Very aware.
Furthermore to that point, these are super impressive numbers considering that time of music. Like in Japan, I looked up the top 100 Oricon charting. So Oricon is like the major chart in Japan, like Billboard in the US. And I looked up the top 100 for that year, 2007. You had huge names in Japan, in J-pop, releasing songs. Ayumi Hamasaki or Arashi, Kodakumi, Utada Hikaru.
I know some of these names, yes.
So it's amazing that SS501 managed to debut at number 10 and still maintain that success with subsequent releases. I think that maybe that does speak a little bit to how good the songs were, because they are pretty great. But yeah, I feel like Hallyu Wave 100% is a factor there.
Here's the thing. I never really listened to SS501. And a lot of times when I listen to K-pop, I steer a bit away from their Japanese releases because most of the time they're either a Japanese version of the Korean song or it's very Japanese sounding, a very Japanese sounding song, but you have Korean singing it, where I feel I may as well just listen to J-pop, Japanese music instead.
In that regard, SS501 totally nailed that idea of let's have this quite Japanese style to try and market themselves in Japan, because it's good business. At the time, Japan CD sales were pretty good. They weren't quite mid-late 90s level when CDs were the most popular format and were selling millions and millions of copies, but still, to chart number 10 in 2007, hundreds of thousands of CD copies were sold at, let's say, $15 to $20 a piece. It's a big money. And Japan, they still continue to be the second largest market in the world. So
in regards to CDs, yeah? Buying CDs.
Right, so that format is super popular.
Even now?
Yeah. Things move slower over there, I guess.
Well, I guess I like to have a physical copy because those things can't be replicated and they become limited editions possibly.
So good
Whereas
on
over-
Double S for marketing that and being able to do well over there. That is impressive. That takes some work. But
Yeah,
How You
that's-
Wave was 100% still something that amped it up for them. They could ride that wave.
And in regards to CD sales as well, I mean, that was during a point where the iPod was fresh in the market. I believe
Yes.
iPod came. When did iPod come out?
03, so there'd been a few iterations, but it didn't quite take hold until later.
So apparently the iPod line came out in 01, but
Oh, well, my mistake.
01, but I don't remember seeing the popularity of iPod really coming out until like 05?
I agree. I fully
05,
agree.
something like that. Yeah,
About
yeah.
05, yeah.
It was when they were taking over. It's like they were taking over MP3 players.
Yeah.
I was still using MP3 player at the time. I moved from CDs from the CD player to the MP3 player. I still use an MP3 player. All right, it's 2020. I've got an MP3 player that's like 10 years old. I'm still using it.
Cool, hipster.
I don't bother with iPods.
Nice, with the vintage, hipster.
Thank
you. Yeah.
Okay, boomer.
Okay, so we've pointed out a couple factors that we attribute to SS501's success, such as CDs, such as riding the Hell You Wave. But let's go hypothetical. It's 2018, let's say, a couple years ago, and SS501 debut. Do you think they would be successful in this current iteration of K-pop, in this current climate of the world of music?
So the way I look at SS501, now, first of all, I don't really listen to their music. There was only one song I listened to. I forgot about it already, so that's gone. But SS501, assuming that they have their own style that they used, and you mentioned they had a Japanese style to it as well, especially when they went to Japan, I would assume that style is out of date. Like 10 years out of date. So if they were to debut in 2018 with that style, it would not work because other groups have already done that style. They've done it a lot. They've remixed that style to the point where there's nothing else you could really do with that style anymore, unless you get really, really experimental. And even then, whatever their style is, which I tried looking at Wikipedia, looking at their artistry, and I don't think it even mentions what style of their music is, other than the fact that it's K-pop. And I'm like, well, that doesn't help. Is it R&B with K-pop and hip-hop and stuff? No, it doesn't say anything. So even something like the sources where I try to look for their style of music, their genre, doesn't give me anything. So for me, it just seems they would not succeed. The fact that they don't have mentions of their artistry and their styles and whatever will make it even harder for them to even debut. And if they did debut as SS501 in 2018, the songs would be completely different. They'll be a completely different group altogether. That's what I think.
I do agree to a certain point. I think that SS501 have elements of other group styles and not quite their own style, especially when you look at Japan. Sure, they went for a Japan sound, but it was trendy. It was the trendy Japan sound, or the trendy, even in Korea is a little bit trendy with groups like TVXQ, and even Super Junior or 2PM, they sort of had elements of. I just feel like the whole thing of SS501, their entire existence, is two factors, basically. The momentum of How You Wave, established by SM, like Girls' Generation, or Rain, or Super Junior, or TVXQ, Big Bang even later on, and the success of Hana Yori Dango just seemed to be what propelled them into a group that we're talking about in 2020.
Yeah, I'm guessing during that period as well, Korean dramas were really, really making numbers out there. They were doing so good.
And there were other groups out there that failed, that didn't do what SS could manage to do, which is why they're so amazing. Like, they managed to break out, but in this current climate, I reckon they'd just be part of the K-pop wave. Like, they just sort of fade into the sea of K-pop that's coming out all the time. Because, well, I'm assuming they wouldn't partake in a drama that they broke out with. So if they didn't, nah, I think they'd just fade away. 2020, does anyone care about SS501? Does anyone care about SS501?
So my first question is, who's SS501 again?
Exactly. At least in Australia, coming from an Australian K-pop fan's perspective, no one cares. It's sad, but No one cares. Here's what they might know. They might know Boys Over Flowers. In fact, most likely they do. But no one cares about the actual group SS501. No one cares about their solo careers as far as I'm concerned. It's not talked about.
Also, when you're getting into K-pop, especially in the early generations, like pre-2010s to the early 2010s, SS501, for me at least, wasn't a name I noticed. The only names you notice are those without numbers in them. So it's like girls generate. Oh, okay. So maybe there's at least one or two groups with numbers in their names that work out perfectly fine, like 2NE1, right? But you're noticing 2NE1 and Big Bang. You're noticing Girls' Generation. You're noticing Kara. You're noticing Super Junior, Rain, big names, Boa even.
Yeah, they don't come up in those conversations where it's like, hey, list 10 legends of that era of K-pop. SS501 never get a mention on any of those lists. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. And like when you're getting into K-pop, you know those big names. Those are the names that you actually search up first if you want to get into something. You don't check out the group that usually stick around at rank 11 that occasionally break the top 10.
That's a good point. You go for number 1, number 2. Yeah.
Right. Because it's so good of a track that it reaches the peak of the chart. And it's the perfect representation of the music industry in that country, in that genre at the time. So that's SS501. Who are they again? All I know is Kim Hyun Joong, because that's the only person we talked about. Everyone else I don't know. For this whole podcast.
All right, let's finish it off here. SS501, or I'd say the least popular group we've done so far on How Not to K-Pop. If you enjoy our discussions on these smaller groups, let us know. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts, comment on YouTube, comment on the WordPress page, which also has our sources for this episode. DM us. Slide into our Instagram DMs at SepaTourProd. However you prefer, let us know. I'm Sean. That's Henry.
Yay!
This is How Not to K-Pop. Till next time. Yay!
The more you know.